Okay, for this exercise, you're going to want a bunch of manipulatives. That could be anything from Cheerios, raisins, beads, pennies, stickers, candy, math cubes. I'm using these little cute rocket chip erasers, anything like that that's small and fun to count. And then you're going to want to draw several 10 frames, in fact 10 frames on some paper. If you don't feel like drawing them all, you can find a place to print them from. And first thing we're going to do with the blank 10 frames without using any of the manipulatives yet is to ask her to count how many 10 frames there are. And as she does that, we want her to label the number beside each one. So here's one, it's just blank, but that's okay. We're going to write 1, 2, and then I already have these filled for something later, but these would be blank when you start. 3, 4, and you would keep going for all of the ones that you have printed or drawn out. She's going to label those all the way up until the 10th one. Okay, then we're going to get started, and she's going to fill in the 10 frames with the manipulatives. And as you know, we start from left to right and top to bottom, just like we read. So as she's counting these or putting them in the 10 frame, she can count them if she likes. If she doesn't count them, that's okay for now. But you do want to see if you can get some conversation started about relationships between numbers. Like, oh look, you've got 5 there, and so you filled in the top row. So the top row has how many? Oh, 5. Okay, well it looks like the bottom row has the same number as the top row. So if we fill in the top row and the bottom row, we would fill in 2 5s. And then she may tell you, oh, 2 5s make 10, or she may not, but we're just trying to get her to start noticing some relationships between numbers. So she can just keep filling them in one at a time. She may be somebody who doesn't care how they are. She may be somebody who wants them all the same orientation. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Okay, so when she puts this last one in this first box, she has made a 10. And so if she doesn't point that out, then you're going to go ahead and tell her, oh, look, you filled up this whole 10 frame. We know when the 10 frame is full that we have 10 things in it. So I want you to look over here at this number that you wrote. This says 1. So this is telling us that this is one group of 10. Okay, and we just call that 10. There's no other special name for it, just 10. Okay, good. We're going to keep going. We're going to go ahead and fill in the second one. And again, like I said, she doesn't have to count on and say, now this is 11, 12. We're going to get to that. But what would be good is if she's filling in these and you stop her and say, oh, look, wait, we know the top is 5. So if you've got 4 in there already, how many more do you need to fill in to make 5? Right, 4 and 1 makes 5. And what about 5 and 1 more? 5 and 1 makes 6. So these are good opportunities just to talk and see what relationships that she notices as she's filling these in with her fun little whatever she's chosen. So once we get to 9 though, and let's also, like I said, point out, oh, 9 has 1 left until 10. So 9 and 1 would make 10. But here's something special that happens when we fill up another 10 frame. So let's look and see when we get this one filled up. Look, how many 10s are going to be filled up? 1 and 2. So now that since we filled up this one, we have 2 10s. So 210 is also called 20. And you don't need to write that or spell it or anything, but just orally say 210 is the same as 20. We call that 20. That's 210, 20. And then, like I said, I already filled these in because for time's sake, but she's going to keep going and filling those in. Every time she gets to 9, you're going to want to stop her and say, okay, so this is going to fill in another 10. So you can even tell her explicitly, if she doesn't remember how many you're up to, look at the number you wrote. How many 10s did you fill in now? Okay, that's 310. 310 is called 30. That means the same thing. 310, 30 means the same. And keep going. When you get here, you're going to say how many tens will you have filled in when you put that last one. That'll get us 4 tens filled in. So now we have 410, and that's called 40. Okay, I didn't keep on trying all the way up, but you're going to keep on going with that each time, pausing on those nines before you get to that next 10 and asking her to think about how many tens are going to be filled in. And you don't have to do this all in one sitting, and you can do a couple and then come back and just keep a project going where you're filling these all 10 tens are going to be filled in. She can call it 210 and 310 and 410 at first, and even if she needs to continue with that for a little while, but every time she says, oh, that's 210, say, yes, 210 is 20. Oh, 310. You're right, 310 is 30. So you're reinforcing that orally, that the name of it is called 30, but it makes a lot more concrete sense for kids sometimes to say what it is. It's 310. Okay, so once we have everything filled in, then we're going to go back to counting them with one-to-one correspondence. So they'll all be filled in already. And then she's going to get to count them now. So we're going to go up to 10, and then this time we are going to say, okay, 10 and one more is 11. So 11, 12, 13, and do have her go ahead and touch each one to make sure we're doing one-to-one correspondence. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now, do you remember what the number is called when we fill up 210? That's 20. Tell her if she doesn't remember, that's fine, but make sure she says it after you. 20. Okay, now that we filled up 20, we're going to keep that word in the front, 20, because we've already got all these full. We're going to keep that while we count the next. We're going to just start with 1 again, but we're going to keep our 20 with us when we go and count those. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, do you remember, after we fill in 2 tens, what's the next 10 that we fill in? 29, 310, or 30, 29, 30. And we're just going to keep going, and just make sure, since it's the decades that she gets mixed up on, just stop and talk each time before she goes to it, and counts that last one, to make sure she knows that we're filling up that number of tens. And like I said, she can call it 310, 410. Just make sure and reiterate 310. Yes, 310 is the same as 30. And then keep doing this as many times as she needs. If she needs to do it a few different times, change out the manipulatives to keep it a little more fresh, but just let her keep practicing this to internalize what she's actually doing before she starts trying to count by rote, because I think maybe why she doesn't remember is it doesn't make a lot of sense. And she really needs to hammer in those, what are we actually saying when we're counting? And when we count, it means each number is standing for something. So that might help her be a little more concrete. And then once she gets pretty good at that, then she can try counting without the 10 frame. But she could always, especially if you made one with stickers that's going to stay on, then she can always go back to her charts and refer back if she needs to for a little help. So that's some practice on counting to 100.